Kelly Clarkson. It was 10 years ago when she became the first ever winner of the hit television series American Idol. Since then, she's been the biggest idol ever, selling nearly 40 million records. I caught up with her at the recent Pepsi NFL Anthems kickoff event, which was packed with celebrities who have partnered with Pepsi and the NFL to bring in the NFL series. We talked about how she's managed her brand and managed to sell millions of records in a music industry where overall sales have declined. You are the one out of all the artists that has sold the most records. You've continued to do well, 40 million records.
Wow.
Since then.
I actually didn't know that. That's awesome.
And it's 10 years today that you first won American Idol.
Yes, I got a gift from my best friend today about that, but it feels longer than 10 years, so I've been working since I won every day, basically, so it's good. Work while I'm young, retire when I'm older, so yes, that's my goal.
But really you were actually working before you won.
Yeah, I lived in LA and I did all the singing bars, did all the auditions, sent my demo in and did all that kind of stuff, and yeah, I finally got my big break though with Idol, so yeah.
And before you won American Idol, you actually had a couple offers for record deals that you turned down.
Yeah, I turned down two. One was basically like they'd have me for life and I would have no say in, you know, my product, which is me. So I thought that was pretty lame, so I said no. And then the other one was like basically wanted me to change my identity. They wanted to kind of control the music I was doing, and I didn't really want to do that either. I think the best type of music is something that's not like pigeonholed. I like a little bit of country flair, I like soulfulness, I like pop, I like rock, and I really wanted that. And I knew if I settled just to make, you know, get a deal, like, and you know, right then it would have been awesome, but in the long run it wouldn't have been maybe the best decision, so yeah.
And how old were you at that time?
19.
Okay, so where did you get this business acumen and the guts that you had to do this?
Well, when you're poor and you have nothing, you really have nothing to lose. So it's, you know, I'm a really hard worker. I'm from that family. Like, if you want something, you've got to work really hard for it. I knew, like, that I was meant to sing, and I knew that I was meant to be a part of that career, not just some puppet. So I really did, you know, I turned those down, and it was hard. I'm not going to say it was easy to say, no, I'm not going to take your money and your, you know, big record label, whatever. But, like, I just really wanted to make sure that in the long run, I'd seen so many, like, documentaries and, you know, biographies on artists and read books. And It's like, you know, they make bad decisions, and I didn't want to be one of those people. So I learn well from other people's mistakes. I'm a last-born child, so. And
there was never a time at that period where you thought, if I don't take it now, the chance may not come back?
No, I don't really know how to, you know, just when I first started singing, just how people would be affected, and they'd come up, like this old man came up to me one time when I was singing when I was younger, and it was one of my first times ever to sing in front of people. And he came up and he was like, man, he was like, you just touched me, and like you were meant to do something bigger than what you're doing right now. And I was like, I think from that, like, came a lot of confidence, and I'm like, if I can move one person to do something like that, I can definitely move more than that, you know? So, I don't know, I've had to have that confidence because I've basically had to do everything on my own, so, you know.
How did you prepare to do everything on your own? Where did you get the
I've been doing that for a while. My mom, you know, single mom, and she put herself through school and was working job after job, and I was on my own young, doing my own laundry, cleaning, doing everything, you know, on my own, and I appreciate that because I think with that comes you know, a great work ethic, and I think it comes a level of respect and appreciation for things that you have, and that people that get handed stuff like that don't necessarily have right off the bat. So.
And I get the sense that even if you hadn't won Idol, you would still be a recording artist today.
No, I would have gotten here somehow. This was my door.
All right.
Lord, I have no other talent.
I like
yeah,
that.
This is what God gave me, and I had to work with it. So yeah, no, I'm not good at anything else.
So you never really gave yourself something to fall back on?
No, there was no backup plan. Which, by the way, my mom's an educator, so she's a teacher, so she didn't like the fact that there was no backup plan. But you know, I'm a hard-headed, driven little girl, so.
And when you got your big break, and you saw there had to be a point in your career where all of a sudden it was an overnight millionaire in terms of the money and all of that stuff. How did you adjust?
Well, what's funny is it was an overnight millionaire success. And I mean, it was overnight success as in like people knowing who I was. But I mean, right after Idol, I remember my first tour, we were all plugging in our gear. It was like singing amongst like cow poop. It was like a bunch of fairs and like, it wasn't like what everybody thinks. Like,
Right.
you know, Carrie and Chris Daughtry and Jennifer, like, they came afterwards, you know, so they kind of got that right off the bat. But in the beginning, I didn't get that. I got like I think it was $200,000 like advance off the bat, which is amazing for someone who has no money. But I mean, everybody thought it was $1 million thing, and I didn't get that. I earned everything. So.
And how did you adjust to the whole transition of fame and all of that?
You know,
How did your life change?
My life changed, but I'm honestly from a small town, so like everybody's already known all my business and has their 2 cents to say. Like that's been my life since I was born. So it's just kind of on a bigger scale now. And honestly, I take people's opinions that I respect. I take that in consideration, but I think at the end of the day, you always go with your gut, and I've got a good head on my shoulders, and I've always just kind of gone my own way.
You have. I mean, even on Twitter, you endorsed Ron Paul. You had controversy related to that, but you always stood behind your decision.
I stand behind people that I believe in, because I've also been a supporter of Barack as well. Like he's the first time I voted Democrat. So yeah, so I stand behind people that I think can actually make a difference. So,
Right. And what do you think about the whole Twitter phenomenon with celebrities? Is there a certain pressure that goes along when you tweet, when you're thinking about what you're about to put out in the public?
Yeah, I mean, I think with everything I say and do, that kind of pressure is there, because regardless if I want to be or not, I'm an example for kids that listen to my music, regardless if I want that or not. So I always try and watch, what I say and stuff. But at the same time, I don't back off of something that I really believe in and I think needs to be said just because it might not be the popular opinion. I think that the best example is to be me, because that's who I am, and I don't know how else to be. But I think things like Twitter, the thing that is cool about that is you have direct access with your fans, so it's not like there's any miscommunication. If something comes up and a fan says, "Did you say this?" or "Are you with this?" like, I have direct access to say, no, that's not, I don't believe in that. Like, that's not my thing.
And if you weren't doing it, it would probably be a lot harder for you to connect with your fans.
Yeah. And I mean, let's face it, it's really cool for a 15-year-old girl to be able to tweet, if she's a fan. I would have loved that,
Right.
If Annie Lennox or, Aretha or Mariah would have ever tweeted me back, I would have flipped out. So.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because we have 2 questions from people from my social media.
Okay.
One, Susan Toffler wants to know, she says you use social media and Twitter during your live shows, that people actually tweet songs that they want you to sing. Do you do that?
It's kind of like that. We have a thing called Fan Request, and we have all the fans from those shows tweet what song they want me to sing. So we pick a special song for each show and let somebody from that audience pick it. Sometimes it's really great.
That's got to be hard.
And sometimes it's horrible.
Because you're looking at the sheet and you're like, oh, that's not, my voice isn't up to that today.
It's kind of funny, but it makes it fun. And because of the internet, my show goes online after the first show. So why we kind of started doing it is just to make sure that every show is special for those people that night. They at least have 1 or 2 things coming at them that weren't done previously.
Right. The other question is from Julie Verhage. She wants to know, what are your most favorite and least favorite aspects of the music industry, and what are the things that you learned about the business that you didn't know before you won Idol?
I think my least favorite thing, I'm a pessimist, obviously I just started with the negative, but my least favorite thing is, not even in just music or just art, in general, in any business platform, I hate anything formulaic. I like to step outside of the box. I don't think you're never gonna get that creative field, or you're never gonna get those brand new ideas if you stick to one formula, So I think it's always important, not only just in music, to make sure you're stepping outside of that box and experiencing life, If we live by one formula our whole life, it's gonna be very boring and mundane, and I don't know, I think life should be more than that, so that's my negative.
And what are you telling the young people in the business about what you learned that you didn't know?
Yeah, I mean, what I didn't know beforehand was I didn't know how much the industry would love you to be a robot. I didn't really realize that getting into I thought it was this big creative environment. We all get in there and, work together and make this big thing. And, I think the most important thing I would tell someone getting in the industry is to make sure you surround yourself with the kind of people you are, because then that means that your product and your life will be how you want it to be. I unfortunately, along the way, have, picked people that necessarily didn't have the same dreams or goals as me, and it makes life very difficult. So, yeah, that would be the one thing I'd tell people. It's who you surround yourself with.
Well, now you're surrounded by Reba and her husband who manages you. And so you got some mentorship there, right? Okay.
Yeah, you got to find who you're like. So, yeah.
I want to congratulate you on your 10th anniversary.
Oh, thank you. Yes,
you forgot already.
I did. I just forgot. Sorry. Yes. No, I was like, on what? No.
Congrats. Maybe we'll see you as a judge on American Idol.
No.
No.
No, I would never do that.
Why not?
The one thing I did do was duets on TV, and that was because I got to be a part of the process. I'm not really good at telling people how to do something. I'm better at showing them.
Okay.
So, yeah, that wouldn't really be my forte, but yeah.
Well, we'll definitely find you on the charts.
Yes, well, thank you, hopefully, yeah.
All right, 40 million records and counting, Kelly Clarkson. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a lot of records.
I know.
I'm Lee Hawkins with Kelly Clarkson for the Business of Celebrity. We'll see you next time.
You have to keep this strong image in this game where weakness can be a dangerous thing to show.
Involve the fans in our product. They feel like they helped create this, helped design it, and I think that's the case with our jewelry, our home, bedding, and everything that we do.